My wife ran away with her driver, but she didn't expect my revenge. I always thought infidelity was something that happened to other people. Not me, not my marriage. Emily and I had been together for 12 years. She was charming, ambitious, and always knew how to light up a room. I was her quiet counterpart, the one who made sure the bills were paid, the plans were set, the house ran smoothly. We weren't perfect, but I thought we were solid. That's the thing about betrayal, it doesn't just happen overnight. Creeps in like a slow leak, until one day you wake up and realize you're drowning. The first signs were subtle. She started coming home later than usual, always with some excuse, traffic, late meetings, drinks with friends. She had recently hired a private driver, Daniel. She said it was to make her life easier so she could work on her phone during rides. I didn't question it. He was young, maybe mid-20s, with that reckless charm women often fall for but never admit. She mentioned him in passing sometimes. Daniel helped me carry my bags. Daniel found a faster route. Daniel said the funniest thing today. I didn't think much of it. Why would I? But soon, I noticed she was dressing differently for work. Shorter skirts, brighter lipstick, and a kind of nervous excitement in her voice I hadn't heard in years. One night, she came home smelling like whiskey and perfume, her hair a little too messy. She brushed past me, muttering something about being tired. That was the first time I felt it. The quiet, twisting suspicion that something was wrong. I didn't want to be that paranoid husband, so I tried to ignore it. But the signs piled up. Texts she quickly hid when I walked into the room. Phone calls taken in the hallway. Sudden trips to meet clients on weekends. Then there was the night I woke up at 2 a.m. and found her in the kitchen, whispering into her phone. She jumped when she saw me and claimed she was just talking to her sister. But her sister lives 3 time zones away and would never call at that hour. That's when I decided I needed to know the truth. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I started watching. I took note of her schedule, her moods, and the times Daniel's car appeared outside our house. One Friday afternoon, I told her I had a late meeting and wouldn't be home until midnight. In reality, I parked a block away from her office and waited. At 6:30, I saw them. She came out of the building, laughing, her hand brushing his arm. They didn't head toward her usual coffee spot. They walked straight to his car and drove off. I followed. My heart was pounding, but my mind was ice. They stopped at a hotel. I watched them go inside, his hand resting on her lower back like it belonged there. I sat there for hours, staring at the entrance, until they came out just before midnight. She looked flushed, her hair messy again. He looked smug. That night I didn't sleep. I didn't rage or cry. I just planned. Because here's the thing. Finding out your spouse is cheating hurts, but finding out she's cheating with someone who works for her, someone she sees every day, someone she's paying, that stings in a way that makes you think differently. The next week, I did something she didn't see coming. I called our bank. I moved most of our joint funds into an account in my name only. I froze the credit cards she used. I even contacted her boss, who happened to be an old college friend, and hinted that Emily might be misusing company resources. I didn't give him details, just enough for him to keep a close eye. Meanwhile, I hired a private investigator. Within days, I had photos, videos, receipts, proof of every hotel, every dinner, every kiss in that damn car. But then, the investigator told me something else. Emily and Daniel were planning to leave the country. She'd been buying tickets under her maiden name. She even rented an apartment in another city to start fresh. She was going to drain what was left of our joint account, sell her jewelry, and vanish. The plan was set for Friday. I let her think I knew nothing. I kissed her goodbye each morning, asked about her day, played the role of the clueless husband. On Thursday night, she packed a suitcase while I pretended to be asleep. I could hear the zipper, the soft clink of jewelry boxes, the rustle of cash envelopes. At 5 a.m., she was gone. But she wasn't expecting what came next. At 6 a.m., Daniel's car pulled into a quiet industrial lot where she was waiting. They loaded her bags and drove toward the airport. What they didn't know was that I had already tipped off both airport security and the police. Not about the affair, but about a potential theft from our company involving an employee and an accomplice. The story was just plausible enough to cause a scene. I sat in my own car in the airport parking lot, sipping coffee, when I saw it unfold. Security surrounded them before they even reached the terminal doors. Bags were opened. Questions were asked. Emily's face went pale. Daniel tried to argue, but it only made things worse. Eventually, they were escorted away for questioning. By the time she called me, hours later, she was frantic. She swore it was all a misunderstanding, that she needed me to explain everything. I told her calmly that I knew about her and Daniel, that the accounts were empty, and that the apartment she rented was already in my name. I'd bought it the day before. Then I hung up. That was the last time we spoke. Divorce papers were delivered to her within the week. She lost her job soon after. I heard Daniel left the city a month later, probably chasing another paycheck or another woman. Sometimes, Friends ask me if I regret it. If I regret not trying to fix things, or if I regret being so cold. I don't, because the moment she stepped into that hotel with him, she chose her side. And I chose mine. I didn't just take back my life. I made sure she could never use me or anyone else like that again. And that, to me, was worth every second of it.